Well, that was botched. So you were talking last time, Jacob, about how death doesn't seem that bad in this game?
Yeah, I was.
Well, this part, I think more than anything, is going to show us how rough it really is. One, I lost a good chunk of my experience, and I lost half of my money.
Right.
You need all of that.
Yeah, that is pretty stanky, isn't it? At least we're back in regular times.
There is also another thing. If not in this part, then in part 5 is going to show the real damage you can do when you die.
Oh boy. That's hooking in viewers right there.
わしにも定かなことはわからん。一つ言えるのは、仏様はお前さんの古い記憶を起こしてくださっているだけじゃ。お前さんがどう思い、どう覚えていたか、すべてはそれ次第じゃ。
My hair is melting down my head.
I'm sorry to hear that, son.
Dad? You've gotten much scrawnier.
I'm actually from much farther in the past than you think.
Alright, we attached our stuff. I pretty much always have the axe, the firecracker, and the shuriken attached. Maybe something else, situationally. Like I said with the flame vent, if you see an enemy with red glowing eyes, using the flame vent will make them cower in fear longer than if you were just to use the firecracker. And the Mist Raven, I think the idea is you're supposed to hold down the stance while you have it equipped, and then you disappear into feathers and you don't take any damage. I had trouble figuring it out and I was never able to.
That's a bit Bayonetta. Like, Bayonetta has an ability where if you dodge it, just a little too late, you turn into bats and you move around and not take any damage.
But we got another esoteric text, that's another skill tree. In other words, if you don't get metaphors. Which is possible. There are people who don't.
I imagine jumping into all those Buddhist statues must hurt like hell. Like jumping on them like a bed. I'm gonna do it.
What do you think happened to the sculptor's arm?
Broken by Buddhism.
Your face. And wow!
Did you just drop a Hey Arnold and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice?
Sheen dies twice. Not there. There we go. I'm trying to find a camera angle where you can actually see her face. And wow, but never can.
She's so far away.
Yeah. Alright, but let's actually head up into the Hirata estate now. One good way to sneak around is to head up onto this side path, jump onto the trees, and you can sneak behind a couple of enemies here. You're kind of guaranteed to be caught, though. There's a lot of archers around here. There is some tall grass, but I'm not that smart.
A lot of these guys really are just rocking, bikini armor, aren't they?
Yeah. Some dude just lit a bonfire, to intimidate me.
Ooh. This was only invented 50 years ago. I thought they were just throwing bamboo at you. Just sloppily, yeah!
There's the fire meter. Even if you fully catch fire, it doesn't do that much damage to you. Oh god. Getting hit with an arrow in the middle of the air does suck, though. We're able to unlock a skill that allows us to block in midair. But before then, you take every hit. Plain oil. Not even olive oil, just oil.
Oil, oil, oil.
Now, across the way, we got another one of those big dudes. We saw one of them back in part 2. They're called the Taro Troop.
Ow. I'll get you! I'll get you!
The Taro Troop are kind of sad. They're these really big, mentally handicapped baby men.
Oh.
It sucks that you have to fight them so often. But then I guess, this is like 1500s or something. Everything sucked back then.
True.
Fighting these guys isn't too hard. Their attacks are pretty deliberate, they're not very fast, and you can't deflect them.
Does every enormous fat dude in From Software games have to have a thong?
Look, somebody is into everything.
True. But I don't play Dark Souls for the boners.
I read somewhere, I feel like it was a tweet, From Software games are the only true equal games, because even the women are monstrous.
Yeah. Exactly.
So here's how the axe works against shields. Not so much there, he did move the shield out of the way, but it did completely empty his posture.
Perfect.
This is more like it. Look at it shatter in two.
God, that's so cool. One problem I kind of had with Dark Souls is that that's the point of the game, but you do feel weak a lot of the times just being beat up by these normal dudes. You feel challenged, but not very cool. This game, you just feel like a fucking badass.
And it's our father Al from the intro. We haven't seen him since. And of course, the next time we see him, he's dying. Great.
I feel like just everyone is dying in this game. Like every time you turn around, you're just talking to someone kneeled down against a rock, just going.
You need to get this key in order to fight the boss of this area. It is perfectly possible for you to completely bypass this if you don't know about it.
Like how you went to the item menu, some of the fires stopped, but not all of it.
They might be different entities in the game engine.
Yeah, I think the fire that didn't stop was a texture.
Wolf and Owl have an interesting relationship. Because we saw in the intro, the first thing Owl did was cut our eye, and he's like, okay, you're my son now. But Wolf and Owl also genuinely seem to love and respect each other as father and son. It doesn't come across as abusive as you might think. It's a weird relationship. Never forget the Iron Code! Yep.
Alright. You got it, dog.
Oh dear. Well, we ain't getting out that way. Now this is a backdrop to mourn my father. But to get out, just gotta grapple around a bit. You head up to this tower. There's a path of these little statues along the canyon that you can grapple onto, and it'll take you directly to the path that gets you into the estate. But I want to go rematch against that shinobi. I'm feeling more confident now. Never mind.
Okay. How about now?
No, gonna save that for later.
Okay. We'll be back, Purple McShinobiman.
But I went ahead and bought an increase to my Spirit Emblem stash, so now I can hold more. The next thing I want to do is that thing that costs 5 skills. Breath of Life. That recovers some health when you do a death blow. Very necessary. In fact, I think I just ran backwards and farmed this area for a while. Now I can get it.
Get all that lost XP and money back.
The prosthetic arts, I'm not as cognizant of. I do unlock them all, but I'm not so much aware of what they do. But in cases like the shuriken or the axe, a lot of what the skills are is you can follow up throwing a shuriken or using the axe with a regular sword attack, and it's more powerful. Something like that. But let's actually head up into the estate. An easy way to do it is just to head back into the river and jump in. There's fish down there, but it's actually not a treasure carp. It's a man-eating fish.
Okay, I just want to take a moment and talk about how much Jack and Daxter has fucked up me swimming in any game. Because every time I swim, I'm just like, is there some kind of fucking evil monster fish that's going to eat me in one gulp at any moment?
Or the shark in Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh yeah, that too.
That's for the rest of us.
Yeah, I didn't play that growing up. I played it recently, though, and I got the same feeling. Except he's much slower.
Juzo. Think it's the first time we're hearing that name? Now, before I take those guys on, there's actually 3 guys behind them. I want to clear them out first, including a very well-hidden archer back here.
Ow. I was ill-equipped.
Now, the guy to the left here is a shield guy, the guy to the right is a heavy, so I want to take him out. The shield guy is not a problem for me now. It takes me a while to really get a feel for thrusts. Like, more often than not, I'm gonna end up taking the thrust instead of Mikiri countering it. It's a particular instinct you need to build up. Now, I missed this, but actually I could go back down the path, and there would be a couple more guys with pikes I could fight. I'll show them off later, though.
I think I took way too long to see you.
Yeah.
Huh? Ah!
There, I did this a little better.
Yeah, much smoother. Oh, I thought you were gonna fall back in.
Now, I haven't mentioned it yet, but the music is great in this game.
As always.
Yeah. But unlike in the other games, it's always present. It's not just in boss fights. I kind of didn't need a rest there. But whatever.
Sometimes you just gotta take a nap.
An insta-nap.
What the hell was that?
That was me switching weapons.
Oh, okay. I thought you stepped in a bear trap.
Well, this guy's about to. Oh yeah, don't run directly into the fire.
I, Wolf, the human bear trap. I'll bite your leg.
There's a bunch of guys in this area. You can stealth around them. Just walking under this walkway makes you invisible. There's a guy in the middle here. He can see you from really far away. There's 2 separate packs of guys. They're off in separate parts now, so I can just run ahead and take care of him. Take out the heavy first. I missed. Uh-oh. But it's okay. You can see I'm getting my health back.
Oh, tight, yeah. I love health regen items. I need them in any game.
And you get more breaths of life as you go on through the game. Doom, doo doo, doo doom, doo 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 doo.
Alright,
that's everyone outside. There's actually a couple of guys indoors, though. And if you attract the attention of all the guys outside, the guys indoors will come out, too.
Hey! Fuck, I've been waiting there all day to burst through that wall. It felt so good, it's worth dying.
That icon confused me. It's the idol again. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in the next part. Maybe a little bit later once we actually get to the boss of this area. And I'll talk about that in a second. But if you notice at the bottom, my posture bar was starting to change color. That's in reference to the amount of damage you take. Now, Divine Confetti, it almost seems funny at first, but it's actually one of the most important buffing items in the entire game.
Oh boy.
One, like, you use it and it buffs your sword, makes it glow, and it looks cool. And it's just a normal damage buff for most enemies. But there are also apparition-type enemies, demons and ghosts and the like. Some of them are damn near invincible unless you're using Divine Confetti. So, look for them, stock up, and use them sparingly.
Parties are most people's weakness.
Just too drunk.
Too surprised.
Now, don't attack this guy. He's a friendly samurai.
Could have fooled me.
I'm not gonna deal with him just yet.
I don't want to bother with this dumbass. Can't kill him, what's the point?
This area is actually full of enemies, but it's also the arena where we fight Juzo. And if all of his friends are around him, fighting him is really tough. I want to quietly clean them all out. Thing is, this was my first attempt, and it kind of went awry after a point.
Hey! I love throwing things at people in games.
You can actually see Juzo right now. Usually he's sitting on the steps of this house, but he must have caught me earlier and wandered out, which caused him to go aggro.
Oh!
So Juzo is a big dude, he's got a big sword.
What a fucking chonk of a man.
In the long run, he's not super hard. Early on, he's tough. He's one of those teaching bosses.
He's like 9 feet tall. Oh, gross. The green mist.
Yeah, that's poison sake.
As a wrestling fan, I'm familiar with that.
I feel like that's one of those cases where using the contact medicine might protect against that, but I'm not sure. That didn't work out so well.
Well, round.
He's a hairy man, too.
Ugh. Grody.
Okay, Thorn, you can activate it. You can res.
Please. Please.
I took too long.
Oh, Thorn!
Take 2. Ah. Luckily, though, you have a 30% chance of not losing any experience or money. That's called Unseen Aid.
What?
It's quite nice. There is a way that number gets reduced, though.
I don't know how I feel about that. Something about mechanics like that where, like, sometimes something really cool will happen. I'd rather life just suck all the time, rather than me hoping it doesn't suck.
Funny thing about this area, even though there's plenty of gaps between the wood here, they all count as solid walls. Enemies can't see through them.
Oh.
Alright, but let's clear this place out properly.
Ow. I'm keep being reminded of Grand Theft Auto 4. You see, in that game, you can order a coffee. No, you can knock a coffee out of a person's hand and pick it up, and then you do have the ability to throw it, but you don't get like any kind of lock-on or arc or anything. So when I was a kid, I would just spend like ages just lining up my throws perfectly to bean people in the head with a coffee cup. I'm just reminded of this when you're throwing shit at people.
You know, that's gonna be more relevant in a minute.
Please tell me you gotta throw coffee at people.
Not coffee, but I have trouble lining up my throws. As long as you grab the attention of only one guy at a time, it's not too hard to clear this place out. That guy's an archer, you can just kill him with shurikens. The thing about Juzo, you can see him sitting on the steps. If you stand up in the middle of the area, he goes into caution very quickly. So now I want to grab the attention of these guys bit by bit. Ceramic shards are a good way to do that. Takes them a while to wander in, though.
Here I come, gonna save the day, gonna make my nan so proud. I give up.
Phew, didn't want to do that. Oh, my neck. Now there's another shield guy right next to him, and a regular sword guy. Dude with a torch. But here I have some trouble actually throwing the shard. It keeps getting hit on the banister.
You can do it. Alright.
But this guy's an asshole, and won't come forward.
I know what's happening. I've played this game before. Where's Chonky McHarryback?
He's behind them. It doesn't grab his attention as quickly. Somehow, I don't know why. Alright, to get this last shield guy, I actually want to go around. If you quickly hit him with a ceramic shard and then duck behind the wall, he won't see you. I think the same with like a shuriken, but the shuriken might actually grab Juzo's attention. I feel like I tried that before. And down. Alright. The arena is clear.
Alright. There he is.
You can backstab Juzo, but with where he's sitting right up against the fog door, that's not going to happen. So I need to actually induce caution in him. That'll make him walk forward, and then I can stab him in the back. And to do that, just walk in the middle of the area, not too close, and stand up straight. The meter quickly fills up, then go back into stealth and go back in the house. Now I can circle around.
Oh, sneaky.
Again, these walls are solid as far as the enemies are concerned. Unfortunately, I should have stayed in stealth, because he caught me.
You absolute dink! Ah! Oh, not even wasting any time this time.
I will say, I'm probably doing this fight in several ways the game doesn't want you to.
It's pretty reasonable to me so far.
Alright, so what I was referring to in regards to how the posture bar changes color. The more damage you do to an enemy, the longer their posture damage sticks. If you get like a third of the way, it takes longer for the bar to empty, when it goes into red, they like lose no posture damage, and it fills up really quickly. Now, the deal with the samurai dude, and why I left him there, is because once you exhaust his dialogue, he jumps into battle. So now, we're two-manning Juzo.
Oh, cool. Nice.
And this is really useful, because, like, we're trading aggro with him. There we go. And by getting the death blow on him, I am able to use my other resurrection node in case I need to. And I will. Unfortunately, I ran really quickly through this area, so the other enemies are still alive, and they start fighting the samurai.
Ah, great.
I mean, at least he's taking their attention, but it doesn't end well for him.
Oh, no. Damn it.
It's okay. Juzo doesn't see me.
Oh, yeah, you got it back.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna lose track of that a lot, like when you get your die back.
Now, how the game wants you to fight Juzo. His attacks are actually quite slow. He's one of the bosses where running around, dashing through attacks is actually quite effective. Like, if you're not super good at deflecting attacks, he's a guy you can kind of just run around and bloodborne it, as it were. So, like, that's why I say in the long run, he's kind of one of the easier bosses. And you can do a lot of regular damage on him while he's just revving up his animations. And all of that damage, once you get halfway down his health, his posture meter stays full. You can see it's red, but the yellow's not going down. Normally, if he had more health, the posture meter would be emptying. Oh, I don't know how that didn't hit me.
Oh, it's a close boy.
When you dash, you do have invincibility frames, just not that many. That's another one of the things people had trouble with coming into this, part of the difficulty. They were expecting it to work like the roll in Dark Souls or the dash in Bloodborne. You less want to dash through attacks as deflected. This is a samurai movie, you're supposed to clang swords.
Yes!
But down he goes. We actually get 2 rewards from him. Unrefined sake is actually a gift. There's a couple of characters where you can get different types of sake, and you can give them a drink, and they'll have different dialogue.
I have legit been craving sake lately, and this game is not helping.
I kind of want to retry sake. I tried it a long time ago, and I wasn't feeling it.
I liked it a lot. I don't know why.
And sadly, our samurai friend wasn't feeling the fight either, so he didn't survive.
Oh well.
Don't worry, I am doing quite a lot in New Game Plus for the LP. This is a complete 100% LP, and we will see what it's like for him to survive. I mean, it's not special, he just says, I'm tired, and then has you go on forward, but I will show it off at least. Alright, but there's a few things inside here. We're actually not up against the true boss yet. We haven't actually fought a true boss. We've only been fighting mini-bosses. Also, it's really fun to just dash through everything and break it. But there are differences between the true bosses and the mini-bosses. Shit went down here. Now there's a character here we might recognize. Mibu Balloon's soul increases the resurrective power we get from killing enemies. Refills the nodes quicker.
Ah.
This was the old lady who gave us the charm.
Oh yeah.
次から次へと止め殿止め殿若様がお屋敷の奥にわしのせがれが伊之助が向かったゆえ無事と思うが
Well, you remember when we saw Inosuke in the future, it wasn't fine then.
No, not at all.
But first, this wall has a secret.
What?
It's a shinobi wall.
Oh, snap.
Very important things back here. Love doing that.
Hey!
There's a chest in here. Don't worry, there are no mimics in Sekiro.
Are you sure? Maybe they're just super rare.
But that is a place with a prayer bead. There's a few prayer beads in chests. You need them. You always need them. And there's some divine confetti here. Again, very necessary. Nope, nope. Alright, but we're going to end the part here. Next time we will be taking on the boss of the area. But I want to complete my first prayer necklace. What these do is increase your health and your posture meters. And every time you get a new prayer necklace, you get an additional piece of lore. I got some options. Nothing sticking out to me as really necessary right now. Look at the chasing slice. That means when I use a shuriken, I can follow it up with a dash into the enemies with my sword. I'm also going to get run and slide. That's pretty useful. When I'm running, I can press the crouch button and I'll go into a slide. And the slide is basically silent, so I could go from a loud run into stealth immediately, but still get some extra distance. It can also be used to, say, slide into a walkway or tall grass, something like that.
God, this game just has so much I really like in terms of combat. I love sliding, I love sneaking, I love jumping on dudes. Oh, this game is so sweet.
Still feels like, aside from, like, the difficulty curve, I think you would like this game a lot.
One day I will try this game for sure. I don't know when, but one day I will.